Hello, scholars, and welcome back. Today is Tuesday, and it's the 21st of April. This month is really going fast, isn't it? Remember, on the calendar, we find the months of the year, the days of the week, the number of days we've been in this month, and we happen to be in the year of 2020. Boys and girls, if you look at my shirt says a little bit goes a little extra goes a long way. And that's what I want you to put in your minds this week when you're doing your work. Put a little extra in, guys. Don't put it all on parents. Do your work and post, okay? So Ms. Brown, go ahead and put your grades in early. Okay, now that we got that out the way, let's go on with our season. We're in the season of spring. Today's weather, a little cloudy outside, but it's hot, guys. It's about 80 something degrees. Today is Tuesday, and yesterday was Monday, and tomorrow will be what? That's correct, it'll be Wednesday. Let's go over and meet the teacher and see what the teacher's going to be doing this week. The teacher has some things in place that she wants to teach you, and it's going to be a kind of a unified lesson this week between my first graders and my kindergartners. We're going to be talking about tricky vowels and phonics. Our high frequency words this week are the same. It'll be red for our kindergartners and blue for our first graders. We're going to be talking about vocabulary. We're going to be looking for compound words as we read this week. And our reading comprehension is going to cover the setting and for kindergarten. For first grade, we're going to be talking a little bit about visual words, words that give you a visual, what makes you think about what something looks like. So we're going to be talking about that. Today we're going to be talking about in social studies for kindergarten, you're going to describe how technologies help people accomplish a certain task or something. And then first grade, you're going to describe how technology has changed communication, transportation, and recreation. Math this week, we're going into word problems, not only for kindergarten, but for first grade as well. So let's go into our reading for this week. And we're going to start with our phonics. And our phonics, this week, Ms. Brown was talking about tricky words, tricky vowels. Look at those vowels for A. We're going to be focusing on A this week. And A can be A-I, E-A, I-E, A-Y, E-Y. And look at the words that go with it. For A-I, you have rain and tail. For E-A, you have break and great. For E-I, you have eight and sleigh. And for AY, you have day and play. For EY, you have gray and hay. That gray is it's kind of like a color, okay? And so Ms. Brown is going to tell you about those tricky vowels. They'll be trying to trick you up when you're reading something. So I want you to start looking like that, looking for that. Be a word detective, okay? So let's talk a little bit about what we're going to be learning this week. This week, I have a great story for you. This story is so cute. It's called Tell Me Something Happy Before I Go to Sleep. And if we look at the words that the author used, what does the word happy mean? That's correct. It's something that makes you feel good before you go to sleep at night. Everybody wants to go to bed feeling happy, right? So we're going to be looking for words like that for first grade. And for kindergarten, we're going to be talking about the setting. Where does the story take place? Okay? So this book is by Joyce Dunbar, and it's going to be read for you. I want you to go online to YouTube, and this story is going to be read to you by a sheriff. And that particular department is spelled P-I-N-E-L-I-A-S, department. It's the sheriff's department. And I want you to look for that department because the lady that's on there reading that is so sweet and kind with her words, and it makes you feel like you're actually in the story. So I want you to look for that particular story. There are several other authors, but she is doing the best job to me. Okay? So tell me something happy. If you look at the picture, what do you see? Oh, that's right. Someone's giving someone a hug. Why do you think they're giving them a hug? Do you think it was something scary going on? Or do you think they were puzzled about something? Or you think they just had a stomach ache and they needed somebody to rock them to sleep? You're going to find out more as you read the story online with the lady, and we'll talk about it on Thursday. We're going to go away from that. So boys and girls, let's talk a little bit about our social studies for the week. Our social studies is dealing with how technology helps people. Well, Ms. Brown uses technology to help you. When Ms. Brown is doing these lessons, what am I using? You guessed it, Ms. Brown is using a computer. She's using a computer. And when I'm using a computer, I'm telling you how to do the different lessons for me. So it says, how do I accomplish certain tasks? I accomplish certain tasks by getting your lesson to you without being right there with you like we were in class. First grade, you're going to talk about how technology changes how we communicate, how we use transportation, and how we use recreation. I want everybody to draw me pictures. Draw me a picture how we can accomplish a task using technology. And first grade, I want you to show me through a picture how we communicate with technology, how we use transportation with technology, and how we use recreation. Recreation is the things that we enjoy. Boys and girls, you're going to post this on our reading area. Remember, that's Miss P. Brown's kindergarten, first grade class. That's where you put it in your portfolio, okay? So now we're going to go into math. I know our lessons are going on, but I'm going to go into math in 1 second. As soon as I give you your high frequency words for this week. Our high frequency words, some of you have been doing a great job posting sentences with these words, and I want you to do the same thing this week. Ms. Brown is giving you a lot of different things to do to get your grades. You are the navigator of your boat. Get the things done, turn it in, and then on Fridays you just have a fun day. You don't have anything to make up. So let's go over our high frequency words for the week. Then we're going to go into math. Our high frequency words this week for kindergarten are in the red, and your word is that, of, and will. Ms. Brown is going to allow you to spell the word as I point to each letter. I'm going to say it, you're going to say it, you're going to spell it, then we're going to say it again. Are you ready? That. That. Very good. Next word, of. Good. Of. Very good. Let's go to will. Again. Will. Very good, boys and girls. Remember Ms. Brown said to post these with a sentence. A good sentence, boys and girls. And remember, we don't write in the margins over here, and we don't write in the margins over here either. We stay by our margin, by the red line over here, and we go straight across our paper very neatly. The next group is our first grade. In first grade, you're going to do the same thing as kindergarten. You're going to write me 3 sentences using these words. Your words this week are your, ask, and his. There are your, ask, and his. And Ms. Brown wants you to actually use these 3 words in a sentence. And boys and girls, you graduated, so give me some better sentences, okay? So let's spell these words. Ready? Your. Your. Excellent job. Next word, ask. Ask. And your last word, first grade, his. His. Excellent job. Now we're going to move over to our math. And our math this week, boys and girls, we're going to be talking about word problems. But before we go to our word problems, yes, we're going right on back to these numbers, because without knowing these numbers, it's not going to help us when we're doing word problems. If you know how to count from 0 to 120, give yourself a pat on the back. If you know how to count by 2s now, give yourself a pat on the back. If you know how to count by 5s, give yourself a big hug. And if you can count by 10s, give yourself 2 big hugs. Because guys, we're going to be talking about telling time real soon, first grade. And you're going to need to know how to count by 5s. You're going to need how to count by adding 1 more number. So we're going to talk about that. Can anybody remember what Ms. Brown talked about last week? I showed you a new skill. I'll give you a minute to think about it. If you remember, we talked about fractions. Give yourself a pat on the back, because we did talk about fractions. Remember, fractions are a part of a whole. We start with a whole, We can cut it, we can bend it, we can fold it, but we're trying to start with a whole and then break it into parts. If we look at this, it shows you a whole, then a half, then a third. And we talked about a whole, a half, and a third last week, and we also talked about fourths. Remember, Ms. Brown said fourths means you break it into four parts. A whole is the whole thing together. Half means one part and another part, and thirds means three parts. So fourths is four parts, a whole is one part, a half is two parts, and a third is three parts. So that's whole, half is two, thirds is three, and fourths is four. So remember that. We'll be talking about this more in the weeks coming. Now we're going to go on to our lesson for the week. Our lesson for the week for kindergarten is word problems. If we look at this word problem, it says, Navy has 5 apples. Corey has 2 apples. How many apples do Navy and Corey have in all? Well, first of all, we need to look at some things that's going on in this problem. We have 5 underlined. We have 2 underlined because those are the numbers that we're working with. We also have the question underlined. Remember, the question ends with a question mark. And the 2 sentences above were statements, so they end with a period. So how many apples do Navy and Corey have in all? If you notice, I put a box around apples. Why do you think I did that? I'm going to give you a minute to think. That's right, because we're trying to find out how many apples in all. So let's look at the picture. On our picture, we see a picture of some apples. Ms. Brown drew some apples. They may look like pineapples, but they're apples. Very good. So Ms. Brown put a plus sign in the middle. A plus sign is telling us basically how many we're putting together. It's putting things together. Remember, plus means putting things together. It's adding. So who knows how we can solve this problem? Yes, Navy, we can. We can use the strategy of putting a number on top of our object or inside our object. And what did you say, Corey? We can count them. You're exactly right. Both ways are right. So we're going to do this together. I'm going to give you a chance to get your pencil and paper. And I want you to do this one with me. I'll give you a minute to go get your paper. You can do it with a color or you can do it with a pencil. Please, no pen. No pen, guys. Come on. Use a pencil or a color. Are you ready? Let's count how many apples we have on our left side. We have exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 apples over there. So Ms. Brown is going to look at the back of her board and find the number 5 and put 5 right there. And how many apples do we have right here? We have 2. And Ms. Brown's going to look at the back of her board and she's going to put the number 2 right here. Is this the only way that we can do it? No. Ms. Brown said we can put a number inside. So you put your number inside. I just gave you the answer. Put your number inside your objects, and I'm going to put my number inside. And we'll come back together in one sec. So that's 1 apple, 2 apples, 3 apples, 4 apples, 5, 6, and 7. Does yours look like that? If it does, give yourself a pat on the back. So what is our answer, boys and girls? That is absolutely right. The answer is 7. The answer is 7. So I'm going to write 7 right here. And that's the answer to our problem. Now we're going to do something else. How many of you have cards at home? Playing cards. Do you have playing cards at home? Very good. These are some big numbers, but it doesn't matter. What Ms. Brown is going to try to do is I'm going to find some smaller ones. I want you to look at this. Ms. Brown's going to put this right here for our numbers. And she's going to show you with a deck how easy it is to have fun and do addition problems. We're going to be focusing on addition this week, and we'll talk about subtraction next week. So I'm going to get 2 easy cards and 2 more easy cards. And all Miss Brown did was find a deck of playing cards around the house. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it out because I want everybody to know how to get the sum of numbers from 0 to 10. So I'm going to put those right there. We're going to put some stuff together real quickly. And we're going to see what we come up with. And no, you don't have to have a magnetic board. You can just do it with something that you have at home. Now let's look at this. 3 and 2. Well, we could put a sign in the middle. 3 plus 2. 3 plus 2 equals what, boys and girls? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5, so the answer is 5. And look at our next one. 4 plus 5. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the answer is 9. Now, wasn't that fun? It's a fun way to do something at home on a rainy day. But wait a minute, I have another big surprise for you, and then I'm going to go on and show first grade. I know you have these at home. Dominoes. Look at that. 3 and 1 more is 4 and 1 more is 5. Great job, boys and girls. Get those dominoes out and learn how to count. And do it all the way up to 10. Now I'm getting ready to go on to our first grade. First grade, yours is a bigger challenge. As always, you're the big boys and girls. So look at what you're going to be doing. Your problem's a little bit more entailed. Derek and Ronnie like to play with toy cars. Derek has 12 cars and Ronnie has 8. How many cars do they have all together? Well, let's look at it. First of all, we need to figure out what they're asking us to do. They said all together. When we say all together, that means we're going to do what? Are we going to add, subtract, or is it equal to? You got it. We're going to add it. So we're going to put a plus sign in the middle. And we're going to count our objects. That's 12 plus 8 equals what? Well, it might be hard. If that's 12, let's count on. That's 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So the answer is 20. Very good. Now that you know how to do that, I want you to do one word problem for me, and that's for kindergarten 2. Do one word problem using numbers and turn it in, post it for me. Kindergarten, first grade. Yours is a bigger challenge. Get those playing cards out. We're only working with addition this week. And I want you to do the same thing as kindergarten. I want you to get your cards out, and I want you to put together some numbers for me. And I want you to challenge yourselves all the way up to 20, okay? We don't want you to go to 100 yet because we all still learning. But I want you to do some big numbers for me, okay? So if you do some big numbers for me, 8 plus 9 equals what? 8 plus 9 equals 17. 7 plus 5 equals what? 7 plus 5 equals 12. So what we're doing is we're counting the objects on our cards. Isn't that fun? It's a fun way to learn how to count and learn how to add. Going right back to what I did with our kindergartners. Get those dominoes out. Get them out. But this time, I'm going with a bigger number. Because guess what? Kindergarten, we're starting off counting on to 10. The first grade, we're going a little higher. Let's look at our numbers. 3 and 5, 3 and 4 is 7. That's 7 over here. And this right here is 6. So 7 plus 6 equals what? You got it. 13. Boys and girls, post a video of you doing something of this nature. Or just post a picture of you doing it with dominoes. Not playing dominoes, but actually counting numbers with your dominoes. Boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. We'll do a little bit more on Thursday. I'll see you then. Bye now.